Imagine building a neighborhood from scratch right here with these views in the middle of 21st century Manhattan.
It's like the new New York. It'll be a model for the new city.
I would describe the Hudson Yards as aspiring to be the most connected community in the United States and maybe even the world.
That's what's happening here at Hudson Yards on the far west side, one of the biggest and boldest gambles in New York City's history.
So it is about 35 blocks that was essentially Manhattan's last frontier. So it was a wasteland sitting in the middle of Midtown Manhattan, filled with vacant lots, parking lots, and at the very center of it were 6 blocks of rail yards that people have been talking about doing something with literally for almost 100 years.
Those rail yards are the amazing thing, now invisible below us right here at the center of the current Hudson Yards construction site. The first ground was broken in December of 2012. Job 1 was building the huge platform on top of 30 active train lines, creating the foundation for what one writer called this city on stilts.
Trains come in the morning rush hour, then they roll out in the evening rush hour. And that means that we are always building over an operating rail yard. So that's like open heart surgery. Because all those tracks are there, we can only put foundations in between the tracks. So the structural engineering is really an amazing feat.
So below the rail yards, we have a number of tunnels, and below the tunnels, we have bedrock. But the foundation for all of these buildings are large 6-foot diameter caissons.
Massive quantities of steel have been fabricated in sites around the world.
Just for 30 Hudson Yards and the retail alone, we ordered, that was one big steel order. That was 100,000 tons of steel.
This all began with former New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg, who imagined a new West Side as part of an Olympics dream. The stadium didn't happen, but his vision for Hudson Yards prevailed.
The project it's most often compared to is Rockefeller Center in the 30s. It's bigger than Rockefeller Center. I think it's the biggest private development in the history of the US. We're going to be in the $25 billion range by the time we're finished, and I don't think there's anything that comes close to that.
By 2025, Hudson Yards is expected to be a vibrant 24/7 neighborhood. There will be a new public school and 14 acres of gardens and open space, complete with a major art piece by star British designer Thomas Heatherwick. It will be a true test of a smart city, with sensors monitoring everything from air quality to wind to people to cars.
All of the buildings are on a converged network. All of the buildings are connected by fiber.
We got an exclusive look into the new neighborhood as it starts to rise around us. The monster 90-story building, 30 Hudson Yards, will house the new Time Warner headquarters with a spectacle to draw the crowds.
It'll be the highest outdoor observation deck in the city, and 30 Hudson Yards will be the second highest office building in New York, second only to One World Trade Center.
Next to it, the major retail center is going up. It houses the cogeneration technology to keep the neighborhood's lights on if the city's grid goes down. Here, the first building to open, offices for anchor tenants including Coach and SAP. And right here will be the cultural center.
There will be a movable shed that moves into the plaza to create outdoor space.
No question, this is a pricey development, despite some affordable housing. Along the Hudson will be waterfront residences priced from $2 million to $30 million, plus an Equinox and its luxury hotel. To make this neighborhood work, you needed a subway line, and the city delivered. The new 7 train stop that opened in 2015 was paid for by a controversial $3 billion bond offering that now, belatedly, is just starting to pay off. And a payoff for New Yorkers was always a focus.
And so the zoning is very unusual on the site. We're required to have 50% of our site open to the sky. That's a very un-New York thing.
The square and gardens will be filled with 2,800 species of plants and trees, growing above the train tracks. And those tracks are hot.
So we have 15 jet engines that can ventilate below, not just for regular ventilation, but smoke purge in the event of fire. And also, right now the rail yards, they run electrical trains, but they want to reserve the option to run all diesel power trains if they wanted to. So we need to keep the air fresh for the rail yards below us.
So those are air-conditioned tree pits, and so it's a bit of a science project, but we think we got it under control.
Hudson Yards represents an unusual marshaling of public and private resources, and billionaire developer Steve Ross was a key player.
The thing you have to remember about Steve Ross is he agreed to actually become the developer in the spring of 2008. After he signed the deal, the financial world melted down. It would have been so easy to just back away, but he never did. So in terms of public-private partnership, the city really set the stage for Hudson Yards. The city made an investment, private sector invested on top of that, the city reaps the benefits.
The final costs remain to be seen, but those who created Hudson Yards believe it will ultimately produce a profit for the city of more than $1 billion a year.
You know, look, I'm an optimist about government, and I look around the country and I look around the world, and I see cities everywhere kind of doing what I think are really impressive things.
Connected to the successful High Line, the new Hudson Yards neighborhood is creating something new, where there was essentially nothing before.
Really didn't displace anything in New York. I don't think anyone will miss the open rail yards that was kind of a hole between neighborhoods in New York City. We're not only creating a neighborhood in a large space, but it's just an ad to New York City. And I think it's a wonderful ad that we've worked hard to plan to make it a great place to be.
It was an unusual combination of people coming together at a moment. At their core, what all of them believed in was in the future of New York.